Hello and welcome to part 7 of the Starlie build. This isn't an online learning thing, that's all finished. We're back at work now and it's all good. So I can do it more as a regular one. A lot of people didn't really go for that, and that's fair because I had to sort of change what I was doing and make it so that I could write on lesson plans a series of questions that we talked about in the video, where now I don't need to do that. But this one's taken a while to get out because there's been problems. Normally you wouldn't get problems with the Starlie, but the first one I had was a water leak at the windscreen, which wasn't the screen fitter's fault. It was where the turret and the side panel overlap. There was a small bit of surface rust around there, and I cleaned it all out and phosphoric and primed it and da, and forgot to put the seam sealer back. So anyway, I fixed it. It doesn't leak. So that means we can put carpet in and we can do all that sort of stuff. The second problem was the stereos, and I have there's a few here. Most of them are in the shed now. I had a problem with the OE one. I had a bunch of OE ones. These ones are $10 at the Wreckers. The radio cassettes, and one had a channel out, one had the lights out on the thing, one was cutting out every now and then. So I managed to get a couple of good ones with accompanying CD players, which were factory Toyota ones, and fitted that up. I did another one too for daughter's car because the radio in her Corolla was just knackered and sounded awful. I think the capacitors are gone or something in it, but you couldn't add to that one. There was no port on the back for a CD player, so I changed it all and put a Starlie one in her car too. But I tried to use a Nissan one because I like the idea of a VFD, and the CD player won't work. I've tried to mess with it, but it doesn't work. There's a cup holder there and fitted it, modified the bracket, stuck it in, made an adapter, sacrificed the Toyota one so I can make an adapter so a Nissan radio will fit into a Toyota. There's no cutting wires, just plug it in. And that was a waste of time. Used an A112R1, that worked fine. Stuck a cup holder in. I can't get it out. This one here, which is quite a good one, but it comes out on an angle because it's made for a model of Corolla that has to have it on an angle, but that meant that one of the cup holders wouldn't hold a cup because it was too close to the top of the dash, and that was rubbish. So I ended up going the original type again, and I've given the Nissan one. The Nissan doesn't have a very strong amp. I bought this amplifier, but I've decided not to use it. So I messed around with radios forever, and the other problem I had, which slowed me down, was the tailgate wouldn't fit properly. The car's square at the back. I measured it all, but I couldn't get it to close. And so I thought, you know what? Cut my losses. Took out the old original tailgate from under the house, which I put in there. Bodyworked it, painted it. Did a very average job. Don't care. It's green. Put it in. The car has served two purposes. One is transport for Mum, which I've talked about before, and for online learning. But it doesn't look like Mum. She's in full care now, and they're saying it might be an unrealistic expectation to try and get her into a car. All I needed to do is stand up so I can pull her out of a wheelchair and put her in the car, if you know what I mean, and turn her around. But her health's declined, and it doesn't look like she's going to use it, so I don't know. We'll just have to suck it and see. It'll just become another driver, another daily hack that I've got. I've got a few of those now. But at the end of the day, this has taken a while to get out. There was an awful lot of information on the radios. I've had to cull it. I've got something like 14 gig or 15 gig of 1080p video on the radios and the other stuff in this video, which I've had to just chop out. It goes on, and you know, they're boring enough as they are. So there'll be another video after this, which is basically the car finished. Just have to bleed the brakes, stick some seats in. I'll wash some covers. I've used an awful lot of the spare parts I had lying around from the other cars, and also stuff I had lying around from the red car that was written off, which I keep banging on about. But at the end of the day, I've ended up with a beautiful little package. The only issue is that detracts from it is the fact that it's the paint's transparent on the roof and the bonnet. But you know what? I'll just have to repaint it sometime in the future. But for now, I don't think it matters. It's almost ready to go for its roadworthy, and then we can get it on the road and drive it. So I hope you enjoy. Still messing around with stereos, and the thing is, I'm just going to mess everywhere here. Testing the radio out. This is a Nissan radio, and the reason I'm sort of hot to trot for this is because it's got the VFD, the vacuum fluorescent display, which is a bit mental, but I'm just sorting out which is speaker wise and which are what. The only thing I've got is I've got this Enigma cassette from the 80s, which is the wrong way around. It's a very feeble signal. This is not a high power stereo at all. It relies on, what do you call it? An external amplifier, which I've got ordered at the moment. So I would sooner use that one to the Toyota one, in a way. I've just got to, I've been, what do you call it, trying to, I had to go and buy some stuff. I bought the magnifying light and a few other alligator clips and all this sort of stuff, and I can't find, I had test speakers too and I can't find them. These are only a couple of bucks, so I'm not too worried about it. But what we do need to do is ascertain which is positive, which is negative, before I solder them up to a Toyota plug, because I'm going to make an adapter and listen to Toyota, so I can just chop and change if I want to in the interim until I work out exactly what I want. And I won't bother sort of hard soldering it in, I'll just have it so I can all plug up. Left, right, front, so that's cool. So that's sussed out. We've just got to figure the rear, and again, that's the rear one there. Sort of, oh, I've still got noise coming out of there. I need to find an antenna thing too. So I'm making an adapter. I've got all the powers figured out, but just got to figure out the speakers. And to do that, this is just purely rear speakers, this one I think. I took a note of a Bluebird document, but it doesn't show you which speaker is which, it just shows you which ones go to which amp. So there's two amplifiers in a U13, there's a front and rear one, and I've just bought a 4-channel amp. We haven't got, we've got cassette which works fine, and we've got the radio which works fine. The CD I don't think does. I don't think it works. No, it's not working. Bugger it. I was trying to clean the thing on it, but I don't think it's going to work. Something's wrong with that, which is a bummer. I was really hoping that would work. It won't read the, that's a clean CD as well. What a bummer. That's not good. Can I have my CD back? Damn it. Oh well, I know the bluey one works. So in order to get this right, we have to get the polarity of the speakers right. And I found this Install Doctor, which shows the Nissan connectors, and I know what the Toyota ones are. So we can get the polarity of the speakers correct, because we need them both to move properly instead of cancelling each other out by the cones moving like this. They need to work correctly. So I'm just going to solder these up. I need one of those helping hand things. I bought a magnifying light, which I should probably use, and another iron too, because this iron's a bit mangy, but it'll do for now. So I do have to give that door trim a little bit of a clean. That was off the pale blue car. The one going on this side is a mess. That's that one there off the red car that was wrecked. So all that's working. It's all doing what it's supposed to do. And of course got to put the plastic down. I don't know why I can't just put the plastic on the inside of the door trim. It's much easier. The blue bit we were talking about. Stupid birds we always talk about. Oh. That's the old door trim off the wrecked car, and it was all mud all over there where the dog had stood here and looked out the window, and basically kitchen cleaner and a toothbrush and scrubbed it, then mopped it out, I left it near the heater last night and it sort of came out pretty well. Oop. I never use a power tool to tighten that sort of thing up. Just sinks me down. What's the handle? Hang on, I've left it. Right, the only problem with this, everyone is going to think it's a 98. As soon as they see it, they'll go, oh, airbags. But I wanted this trim. I like it better. Just put one of these clips on and we're good. We're done that door. I always like them to sort of sit like that. Which I'm not happy with this Bailey channel either, but it'll do for now. So, cool. I put some carpet in. I'll just give the floor a wipe, just to get the dust and all that sort of stuff off, and it comes up nice and clean. Hang on, what am I doing? Okay, is that way? I've got to put that brace in still. I've taken it out to do the seatbelt, but I need the seatbelt hoop in here before I can set up the switch on it. It's a bit of a weird song, but you can see all the illuminations working. I'm just going to pop it down there for a moment. So the cassette deck's working really well. The illumination's working properly. If you look at the intensity on the LED, if I go stop, how do I stop that noise? I'll just eject it. It's just a nicer unit than what the original Toyota one was. We've got no antenna plugged in, so I was going to go with that thing. That does sound pretty good, but it just doesn't look right. I've got a cup holder there. It's a Nissan one. It doesn't quite fit, and the only other Toyota one I've got fits quite well, but it sort of comes at an angle. I'd sooner have a radio CD player with a VFD in it like that. So I'm just going to see how it fits in the brackets, and we'll take it from there. Myself a magnifier. Really good for somebody like me. Whoops, you got two light settings and a big magnifying glass in the center. But aside from that, it's a really good bench light, and you can concentrate the light where you need it. So what I did, these got little prongs. These are the Starlie brackets for the radio, and I drilled a little Nissan thing in and put that in. It sits all right and all that sort of stuff. But there's this business too, and I don't want that. To prevent it happening, there's these bits here which hold it true, but of course they get in the way of this thing. So that's no good. I thought about cup holders because my daughter and I do use them. The other thing, we have a genuine Toyota one, which is perfect. That fits in beautifully and it matches. It just comes out on an angle. So by the time you have the top part of the center binnacle, you can get a cup in there, but you can't get one in there. And I just thought, maybe not. This A82 or 112R stereo works beautifully. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It just doesn't quite look the way I want it to. You can press this and change your bass and treble and fader and all that sort of stuff on an LCD display. Just not feeling it. An arrangement of car stereos, loads of them. Some of these I had, others I went to the records and spent about $100 on radios. They're about $10 each for a cassette, $20 for a CD. These are the ones we're going with. This is Corolla Camry CD player, radio. Same as the Starlie one, it's marked Fujitsu 10. The Starlie ones are all marked Toyota. Liquid paper or a worn off button there. I don't know what the story with that is, but we can change that out. I'm not too worried, but that's what we're going to go with. And it's all proprietary. It's got the right connectors and all that sort of stuff. Are they in frame? Yes, they are. Good. All right. So we've got 3 Fujitsu 10 radios. That's a Starlie one. That's got a channel out on it. This one's a good one, but it's the light doesn't work behind the display here, and the buttons are worn off. And this one here's got a good display on it with lighting, but it cuts out. I've got a good idea why it cuts out, but what I'll do is I'll just take it apart. I want the display out of that. I'll get the one that's I'll get this one here. We'll pull this one apart first. I'll show you how easily they come apart. Whoops. This is the original Starlie one with the channel out on it. This is the reason I like OE stuff, because it just blows apart really, really quickly, and they're so serviceable. Let me just take the cover off. Where's my screwdriver? Just a moment. There's little clips, little sort of nipple things, whoops, that let it fall apart. We'll take that off. And the front of it will come off just as easily. The front of it's clipped on and plugged into the circuit board. I'm going to pull this out. This is the one I want to keep the front from. There we go. Now, lights are in there. I want to keep this fascia, right? That's the cleanest one I've got. These machines themselves, though, are brilliant. The tape deck itself is separate and just plugs in. A lot of them are like that, but not as well thought out as this one, I don't think. There are 3 screws holding it in and 2 plugs. We'll take that plug out, lift the unit, and there's another plug there. Whoops. And there it is there. It's perfect. The other thing that's particularly good about it is when you take these off, they're fully serviceable. So you can lift the bottom off. Some of them are open at the bottom. The later ones are open at the bottom, the security coded ones. I know that because I pulled one apart. And that will divulge the belt. And that's in good condition. You can generally tell how much use the tape deck's had by looking at the capstan, the pinch roller, sorry, which is behind here. It's actually difficult to see. There it is there. I don't know if you can see it. It's that rubber wheel. That's had some use. It's got muck on it, but it is cleanable. I have no idea if you can see that. Anyway, I'll put the bottom back on. Right, that's the tape deck. Not that we listen to cassettes too much anymore, but anyway, that doesn't matter. This is so cool. There's a bracket that holds in the cassette deck, and that goes through the circuit board at the bottom. Whoops, and then comes off. The heatsink on the back, through I think 2 bolts, 2 screws. These go through your power transistors, and they allow them to cool. With that stuff on them. Oh, I can leave that screw in there. The sides are actually quite interesting because, whoa, I'll just get a socket, hang on, to take those pots off. Stuck in there. It doesn't matter, we'll get it out. Take the front off. Now I sacrificed one of these because I wanted the plugs out of the back, and I'll show you the reason for that. That will just come off. That pot will unplug. These sides just pull out. Same way as the lid does. When you just put a screwdriver in, you can flick it out. If I can find a way to flick it. And the same on this side. And it's pretty much apart. A couple more screws. You can take that off, but you're bending things on the back of it. And this radio, as far as I know, maybe was this the one with the channel out? I can't remember. Circuit board screws got little star washers on them. And that's pretty much apart. Now, these plugs here, I cut those off, one of them, and also that. And I cut this one off here to make a CD extension lead for putting a CD player in Lana's car, which was another Toyota one, a Fujitsu one. Because in her car, they're not sort of ganged on top of each other. The radio's up sort of screen level, or just below the screen, and the CD sort of underneath where the pocket is. These, I made an adapter for a Nissan radio into a Toyota Loom. But that's how they come apart. Those plugs just unscrew, and you just use a bit of soldering braid to get them off. But they're really, really serviceable. I mean, if something goes wrong with one of these guys, he wouldn't bother. But the rest of it's sort of replaceable stuff. And that's the reason I like them. You can't sort of do that with a lot of aftermarket ones, if you know what I mean. So, I'm just going to pop this back together. Which one goes where? Is it that one? Yep, I think it is. And this one. Now what I want to do, I'm going to plug that back in. What I want to do is change some of the front stuff out. Let's put that heatsink on. I'll go and get some thermal grease. Here are your stereo amplifiers, the left and right amp. They're not just transistors, they're actually an amplifier itself that's soldered on, and they obviously get cooled off by this thing. The Nissan one doesn't use one. Well, it uses very small ones, but it relies on an external amp. This is heatsink stuff. Was it thermal grease? Very cheap, reasonable to buy. We're just going to pop some on each of these. I haven't done this very well, but it's more, this is what we're doing type thing. And that steel bracket actually holds them in the right spot. So when you take that bracket off, which is just bent around on the board here, and there's a screw there on the antenna. And, whoops, sorry. There's another bent in tab there. You can actually take that off. And we just plop that on. And a couple of screws. And then we stick the front on. Right. Now, I think we'll leave that one now. I've got another couple of screws for the lid. They can go there. We've got the top of it there. We'll put this to the side. This one has a good display on it. So, I'm going to pop the front off this one. But I don't want the Fujitsu 10 fascia. Right, so we'll take that off. That's got the lights that work. So that's this one. Can't see it, but it's got a good display, so I'll take that off. Right. To get the display out, where's my other screwdriver? Hang on a minute, what have I done with it? To get these out, there's two screws, little Phillips ones. Just pop those out. There's one there. So we can just flick the side of it out. Flick the side of it out and it'll come out. Now, these things are a pain. The reason is, they've actually got light bulbs in them. I had a spare one somewhere, or a blown one. There it is there. And they're soldered on. Under here, and there's one behind there. And you can't get it without running solder braid across there and blah, 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 blah. So, I don't want that one, but I do want the Toyota one. So, I'm going to take this one out and pop that one in here. So that's the bad one. Well, it's not bad, it still works, it just doesn't light up on the thing. So we'll pop this one in. And you just got to open the cassette door. Actually, no, you have to open the cassette door to put that in. What am I talking about? Is that in? Doesn't quite feel right. Shoot, there it is. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Right, so I'm hinging my bets on this one, and this was out. This is the one that was out of a chain smoker's car. So hopefully it doesn't stink when I go to use it. Bit of isopropyl on there. Oh, look at it. Oh god. Yuck. Alright. That's going to have to do. So, that's the plug there. That's not the one I want. This is the one I want here, and it will plug in. Like that. Cool. So what we're going to do now, we'll give it some controls, some plugs. We'll pop it in the car, and we'll try it out. Yep. Cool. Let's go to the car, see how this thing goes. Alright, well, got it in the brackets. We'll just plug the CD in and give it some juice. Oh, it's ejecting a CD. Nice. And plug the antenna in. And that will fit, because it's a Toyota. Let's see if it works, huh? Turn the radio on. Oh, look at that. Now, time, just see if I can get some. I think it's scan and 2 or something. No, scan and 3. Oh yeah, that'll do. Alright, so we've got that. Radio. Alright, let's, whoops. Sweet. These are the proper radio ones with the hex head, and that should be it, hopefully. So I'll just put the binnacle on and we're good to go. Looks like we've done alright out of that. It just remains to be seen. I'm going to leave it on for a while to see if it chops out, just on the off chance I got my wires crossed and grabbed the wrong one, but I don't think I did. I think it's going to be fine. And you know, it should all be good. Where does this go? Hang on. Does that go there? No, that goes there. Yeah, there we go. Where's the wrist? Oh, yeah. Cool. Good. And the thing I like about it most of all is it all fits. Let's put those 2 screws at the top. Whoops. And we are freaking out of here. Look at that. Whoops. Ooh, where's the thing for the cigarette lighter? Is that it there? Yeah, I think it is. Maybe put the gear shift through there first. I should really take that off, shouldn't I? Hang on, I'll just put that in. Where's the little plug? I'm going to have to get down to get that plug. There it is there. I can see it. Can I see that? Is that right? Actually, this is supposed to have a light around it, is it? Hang on a minute. Get in there, you son of a gun. Is that working? Oh, crap, it doesn't work. There's a globe in there. Hang on, I need to change that. I'll turn the light off. This doesn't look bad. Oh, hang on. It all lights up. The cigarette lighter. I'm fussy with things like cigarette lighters. They have to be new, and not sort of smoked in the ashtrays and all that sort of stuff. I've got a couple of very clean ones, but all of this is working quite well. The dimmer and the thing I've got to do, actually, I've just got to give it a vacuum, put the seats together, put the trims on, all that sort of stuff. But the seatbelt warning light is the next thing I've got to have a look at. I have got a better console. Don't know if I'll bother putting it in. That one's alright. Well, it's not great, but I do have a better one. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm quite happy with that. Going through some of the bits and pieces I've got, there's nothing wrong with that cover. That one looks a bit dirty and faded when you compare it to that, particularly in the centre section. That needs to be washed. So does that. When I did the interior, this is out of the red car again. This was the seat that had to clean your car seats for $1, and so I'll use that because it's already clean. I'm just trying to find bits and pieces that are worthy of use. Just going through here, picking bits and pieces. Got to put the headlining back in. I'll use the original 97 headlining. For the moment I'm going to use, what do you call it, sugar soap. I've just got some kitchen cleaner on these, but they clean alright I suppose, but I think sugar soap's going to do a better job on those, because they're pretty mangy. At least just all the parts I've got left, really. I'm starting to loosen that, but I'll just get some sugar soap and I'll give them a better going over. Minimal effort, and it's really cheap. I've still got a mark there, but you know, it works very, very well. And it's cheap, it's like $3 or something for a concentrated bottle. So we'll do these. You can see all that muck coming out of it. I did dampen it with the kitchen cleaner first, but the kitchen cleaner didn't move it. Not nearly fast enough for what I want anyway. It's all dry, good. And then there's this, which goes over as sort of a thread of sorts, like that. And you get the kick panel one, they're good. These things had a mastic sealer sort of stuff around them. I'm just going to pop some more there. This mastic seal is this mastic seal is very old. And that sits in sort of kind of like that, I think. Something like that. Yep, I think that's it. And we'll just get some tape. Ford used to do this with wiring looms on the fuel senders. They used to put electrical tape, not electrical tape, like some sort of, like a duct tape. And where sticky tape for wiring looms isn't probably the best thing, I've never heard of an XWXY Falcon having fuel sender issues because they use tape. I think the Toyota one had a band of some sort of rubberized tape there. Go underneath it. There we go. That's probably a bit tidier. At least I can. Does that go? Oh, the mat goes on top of that, doesn't it? So the mat goes. It's a bit damp, so I just wiped it down because it was grotty. And there's those Velcro things that go in there, and the Velcro's worn off. It doesn't matter. I'm coming out in the seat, Rose. Okay. And that goes sort of like that. Sort of. Well, I guess it still has an airbag. Maybe it's a mistake doing this because I particularly wanted that steering wheel. I haven't got the thing connected, but anyway. Looking alright. These are very, very hard to get. It was only because of that really excellent one at the wrecker that these are in such great condition. I haven't put this side in yet because I've got to take this out, this part out, drill a hole for the wiring for the speakers. But it looks fairly good. All good. Really, really happy with that. I've got to do the headlining. I haven't done that yet. Look how blotchy it is. I knew that was blotchy. I didn't care about that. But, you know, it is looking fantastic and all the electricals are great. Bummed about the paint, but what do you do? But it's getting there. So I might call it quits for this chapter, you know. I might call it quits. I reckon... Do it from the other side. It looks better from the other side. We'll do a closing comment from the other side so you can see the plastic trims. I haven't vacuumed the thing though. Oh, look at that. Look at that around the carpet. All right. So, I think we'll leave it there. Next chapter, I've still got to buff out these rear quarters. And we'll fit the seats. So I'll muck around with which cushions I'm going to use and that sort of thing. So the seats will be in. I mean, everything's in it. It's literally a 10-minute job to put it together, although not including the headlining. I'll have to put that in too. So headlining, seats, and a few plucky trims around here. Buff those out because we can put the taillights in. It'll be finished next chapter, and of course, just bleed the brakes. Then it's all done. So bumper can go on. Well, oh, I just hit the mirror again. Got to watch that. They're hard to get. You can see the trims just look absolutely brand new. That's what sugar soap does. It's the cheapest stuff in the world. And it just works better than anything else. I can't put any of this stuff in because I haven't got the headlining in yet. That's about it. So I hope you've enjoyed our little Starlie. And you aren't getting too bored with it. This thing will finish in one video, and then I think we might do a bit of work on that bluey. I've already bought a bumper bar for it and painted it and put it on. $35, and you can see that looks absolutely lovely. So that'll be coming up next, and of course I'm getting really paranoid because all these guys are getting their bikes going and I'm not. And Andy Newstead got a T350 in 10 times worse condition than my 250, and he's riding the thing. So that makes me feel bad. I've got to do something about this. So anyhow, whatever the case, I hope you've enjoyed this video. We're nearly finished with Starlies, and believe me, we won't be doing too much more on Starlies after this because I've dominated my whole channel with Starlet stuff, and it doesn't gel with some people, I guess, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, take good care of yourselves. Enjoy your classic, and I'll see you soon. What do you reckon? She haven't.
Jesus.